Hello and welcome everybody. We are just a few moments away from the start of the men's competition from the World Grand Champions Cup. And what a game we have got to kick things off. Brazil, the Olympic champions, up against France, the World League and European champions. The FIVB World Grand Champions Cup is in Japan as the planet's top 6 men's volleyballing nations battle it out for glory. 5 days of competition across 2 cities. Up next, France take on Brazil right here in Nagoya. Hello everybody, welcome to the Nippon Geishi Hall here in Nagoya, Japan, as we get ready for the first day of competition from the FIVB World Grand Champions Cup in the men's event. The women's event finished just over a day ago, and we had some world-class volleyball from the 6 nations competing, and we expect nothing short of the same here as the men get ready to go. The 5 matches that will be played for each of the 6 teams here starts today. This the first of 3, as Brazil, the Olympic champions in your picture, take on France, the European champions, World League champions. France, the #1 ranked European team, following on from the Olympic Games in 2016. That is how the selections are made for this tournament. Brazil, the #1 South American team. Japan here as hosts. The USA, the #1 Nausicaa team. Iran, the #1 Asian team. And in fact, I do apologise, Italy are the #1 ranked European team because they made it into the final against Brazil, which means that France are here as the wild card, but even so, World League champions from just a few years ago, and a team that always impresses and always entertains. This is a round-robin competition, so everybody plays everybody, and then whoever's got the most points at the end is the winner, pretty much. So France's calendar starts with Brazil, then they play Japan, then they play the USA, then they play Italy, and they finish off by playing Iran. Whereas Brazil, after they played France, they play Italy, then they play Iran, and then it's the USA, and then it's Japan. 2 days of competition here in Nagoya, and then we move over to Osaka to conclude this edition. So the warm-up's over, and the teams make their way eventually to the side of the court. The France lineup, some faces you will recognise: Grebenikov, the libero, Klivno, Toniuti, the captain, and Legoff. Shinanese as well, watch out for him, just 19 years of age, an absolute talent. However, no Engapeth here, and no LaRue either. For Brazil, it's their strongest team: Satkamp, Lucas de Souza. Still no Lipe, he's still suffering with injury, so he's out of the squad, as he was for the World League finals. Flag bearers are onto court, and it is time for the national anthems of both teams.
At this time, please stand for the national anthem of Brazil.
We'll start with Brazil and finish with France.
And now this is the national anthem of France.
Just a few more protocols to observe before we get this one underway. And that will be with the introduction of the referees. And on the left of your screen, the first referee today, Liu Jiang from China. China's finest referee in charge of this one. And he'll be ably assisted by Serbia's Vladimir Simonovic, the second official for today's match. Wish those two the best of luck. We'll know if they've had a good game, as always, because we won't notice them. So it's time for Brazil to make their way out onto court, and it will be Bruno coming out first. No surprises. There's the starting setter, followed by Wallace, number 8, going through the opposite slot. And then number 13, Maurizio, will be going through the outside. Lucarelli also going through the outside, Lucas through the middle. And the other Maurizio going through the outside. Mauricio Souza likes to have Souza on the back of his shirt so we can identify and distinguish between the two of them. So number 5, Trevor Klevno, will be setting. They will be outside rather, Toniuti setting. This is how they line up. So number 12, Stefan Boyer in the opposite slot. Julian Niniel through the outside, the lefty. And Legoff going through the middle. And two liberos for France, Kevin Tilly, son of the man in your picture, Laurent Tilly, and Janir Krevenikov, number 2. So the second referee checking the rotations, make sure everyone is where they should be, and we will be able to get this one underway. Toniuti going back to serve, probably the shortest man on court for this match. It's France in red serving Brazil in the yellow and blue receiving. This is match number 1 from day 1 of the FIVB World Grand Champions Cup here in Japan. 2 days of competition from Nagoya, where we are at the moment, at the Nippon Geishi Hall, and then we move to Osaka for the last 3 days of the tournament. It's Brazil who take the opening point. And that sends Souza back to the serving line. Decent ball in from Tilly, and as a result, Stefan Boyer, the opposite, gets the block out. That's the perfect serve, isn't it? A great big ace. Niniel once again. Good up from Liniel, dealing with Wallace. Oh, it's a great set, but not a great hit. Maurizio Well, I say it wasn't a great hit. It was a lovely hit, wasn't it, actually, because it was off the block and away. First glimpse from my vantage point suggests he hit that long, but it was off the hand, so really well worked play. And now Bruno back to serve for Brazil. Monster block from Brazil, the first of many, you feel. I guess more appropriately here, a huge kaiju block from Lucas. Wonderful stuff. Oh. Well, it was a delightful set behind, and then a massive one-on-one roof from Maurizio, shutting down Boyer. France opening up, will find themselves 2 behind. It's Brazil opening up a 2-point lead at the moment. Top serving from Bruno, which is denying France from running the middle, and therefore Brazil are very quick to get 2 players out on the block. Oh, that's a great swing from Boyer that time. Found a decent angle. He was showing that angle as he came in, but Brazil's block not able to take the power away. Another big swing. Nice work by Klebno. Boyer. There's a few potential rule changes that are being looked at, thought about, discussed and trialled. At the moment, it's the scoring system, keeping it as rally point, but moving from the best of 5 sets, first to 25, to the best of 7 sets, first to 15. That in itself doesn't really change the game that much, in terms of it's still side out, still all the rules the same. The other 2 areas that are being looked at, for those of you who haven't heard about it or unaware of it, is to change the serving rule so that if you take off from behind the baseline and on a jump serve or jump float serve, you have to land behind it as well. Which means this type of serve wouldn't be allowed to happen. Nice play from Brazil going through the middle. And the other thing that is being looked at is the same situation from the pipe attack, the back row attack from the middle, or 4 from 5 or 10. Again, staying behind the 3-meter line when you attack. Well left by Brazil, by France. You can understand maybe that there's a need perhaps to take some of the sting out of the serve at this top level of the game. It does reduce options and does make it, well, sometimes it just becomes you're defending the ball, you're not playing side out. And perhaps maybe bringing that serving line back for the men's game might be something to just to take a little bit of the sting out of it, but still there'll be this pace of the ball to deal with. So technical timeout, Brazil leading by 2 at the moment, all going well for them. Their side-out game is holding up, and their serving game is causing France a few issues. Tilly's got his work cut out for him at the moment, having a little think. It'll be Lucarelli to serve now for Brazil. Brilliant from Liniel. Bruno not overly pleased with that. It's always a tricky one as well. Liniel as a lefty on that left-hand side of court, swinging away on the ball. Doesn't naturally suit that the left-hander. Naturally suits the left-hander to hit from the right side, but Liniel's made a career out of it, being able to play as a swing hitter. There aren't many of them, left-handed hitters who hit from the left side. Another point for Liniel. Well, Bruno gave that everything. The net really felt it. For those of you that were watching the women's event, you would have seen teams taking timings of the set and being then in a neutral to go at this level, this pace, and this much heat. Your timing, you're in that timing, you're in ready to play from the minute that the ball is served, really, and you're playing defense. You don't have a great deal of time to react. You have to be ready to go cat-like the whole time. And then that's the other thing, those types of plays can be difficult to deal with because you're expecting that big hit. The mindset is, oh, this is going to be a huge hit coming. And you have to be able to recognize when it isn't, and then be able to move and play the roll shots to tip the stuff off the block as well. So demanding, playing volleyball at this level. Not that it isn't. Playing pro or whatever level you play your volleyball at, it's demanding. The higher up you go, the more demanding it gets. The easier the game becomes in certain aspects for you as a player. You understand more of the game and how it develops and what things can and can't happen. And it just becomes faster, harder in terms of the hits. And the expectation levels go up. Your own, your teammates, your coaches, your fans. And Brazilian fans have the biggest expectations. Nothing short of a win at any tournament is never really enough. Good up from Bruno. Good covering by Tilly. Huge block, and that's what Brazil do so well. Russia do it brilliantly as well, and so too Serbia. In fact, most of the top-level teams, as soon as they get a sniff of where this ball is going and they can get there, they'll get three blockers up. Lucas. Excellent from Cleveland. Wallace allowed enough line to be hit. Cleveland took it. That's an excellent block. Chinanisi on Wallace. Wallace has a unique attack pattern through the right-hand side of court. It's not your traditional big three-step approach. Sometimes just off two, sometimes off one. But he gets himself almost, so he's facing the first official massive serve from France. So his cross-court angles are very sharp, and then he can go to the line. Watch this for a serve. Over the top of the screen. That isn't a screen, that's a screen. And it's an ace for France. And it's Brazil calling timeout. Kevin Tilley, famous words from the World League earlier this year, interviewed post-final, which was against Brazil. It's the last time these two teams met in competition, and he'd said it's the little things that can make the biggest difference. And for those of you that watched that World League final, you may well remember the dig that Enkapeth made in the deciding fifth set off a huge spike from Brazil that he dug at 6, went all the way back over, landed in the corner of court, giving a point for France, and took the game away from Brazil from that point. And it was that small difference, that little thing that made the massive difference to the match overall. No doubt that'll still be reeling, still be hurting for France, for Brazil. And they'll want to exact some revenge here against France, especially with France not having Enkapeth, not having Larue here. But at the moment, though, France giving a very good account of themselves. Just one behind. Oh, goodness me. That is just another level altogether. Technical timeout. Brazil lead by 2. Lucarelli almost bursting the volleyball through 4. That's the timeline at the moment. France with lots of side outs. Brazil having scored a couple, but then France with a couple off from 11. So the score overall is about 4-2 in points from the serving line. And look at Lucarelli, and those of you that were, watch this again, look at this, he's up, look how high is that, it's the top of the antenna. And just burying it. One-on-one, Toniuti's got no chance, neither of the defenders. Brilliant, brilliant technique. And you can forgive him for not wearing knee pads. If you're that good, then you can play defense, and you can serve, and you can block, and you can attack like he can. You don't need to wear knee pads if you don't want to. But until you're that good, and if your coach tells you to wear knee pads, you should be wearing knee pads. Well, it's a good effort from Toniuti, trying to find the middle. Always difficult on serves like that where the ball is dug up. That was dug high to the middle of court, commonly known as target 1 in volleyball speak. And Toniuti then had to really try and fire that in to the middle to make it work, but it was well read by Brazil. Lucarelli will go again. Toniuti. Well, that's down France's side, unfortunately for them. Not getting the hands across the net and sealing the gap between player and net. The block was late. We talk about a now moment in blocking, and those of you who've heard this before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those of you, maybe you haven't. The now moment, that moment where you're pressing to make the block, and it's been shown that for 99% of the time that press happens after the ball's already gone. The idea really is to get your press, to get your block finished before the spiker hits the ball. And if you can do that and get across the net, then you're going to be in business. Ball goes down cross court. And it's France who call the timeout. Oh, that's massive, isn't it? Well, Brazil arguably invented the pipe. But if you talk to a few veteran USA players from the 80s, they'll say, no, it came from them in training. But actually, tell you what, in competition, Brazil showed it. Brazil still the masters of it. So a substitution to come. Le Goff off and Thibaut Rossard coming in. Oh, brilliant. Almost zero time. As quick a tempo as you would want at this level. Lucas is up and it's almost waiting for Bruno to fire the ball into him. Those two have a telepathy in terms of their play together. They've spent seasons together in Modena. Then they went to, I think it was Cessi they were at last year. They were back playing in the Superliga in Brazil. And for the first time in a long time, they're actually not going to be together for their club volleyball because Bruno's gone back to Modena in Italy for this season. Huge play from Brazil. Lucas is staying at Cessi. This is the value of a big serve. You don't get the ace, but you can get the overpass. That's what can happen. And you've got to be ready at the net for those. Ready to go up and swing on the ball, so you can't be too close to the net. For the first time in a long time, the Brazilian squad, only Bruno not playing at the Superliga in Brazil. Everyone else is representing in the Superliga, either for Sado Cruzeiro, for Cess, for Taubaté, for Cessi. Blocking substitution now, this, as Toniuti goes out and Jean Patre coming in. Jean Patre, an opposite player, 2 meters and 7, blocks at 3 meters 14, plays his volleyball in Montpellier in France. Brazil unable to get that ball down. France making a good touch. No carry called, so play continues. Nice high ball in from Wallace. Good defending by France. And block out from France. They're now just one behind. Jean Patre doing extremely well. Having just come in, that's his first swing of the match. And actually changing, so he's going out and blocking on the left-hand side. And it's Liniel going over to the right. Makes more sense as he's the lefty. But there is a height difference that was exploited. Lucarelli going past Liniel. Substitution reversed. Patre comes off. Tony Uti back in. And France showing Brazil that they too can run the pipe to good effect. Rossard's done his job. Legoff back in. A timeout called by France. Which is interesting because they have the ball. So obviously this is a tactical timeout. They're going to have a special play here. This is what we're going to do, boys. This is where I want the serve to go. This is who we've got to defend against. Isaac getting the job done, and now it's set point for Brazil. A couple of changes potentially to come. They're going to bring Renan in, who is an absolute giant. Buati Renan, the opposite, 2 meters and 17 tall, by far the tallest player in this match, and he's going to be lined up against Souza along with Maurizio. And Rafa is in to set from the back row. Important Lucarelli gets his serve in if Brazil want to make the most of this blocking substitution. Well, he's done that, and this is going to be forced out wide. Oh, huge. That's off of the block and back in again, though. And now Renan waiting outside against Liniel. That's unfair against Liniel, but he gets past him. But still the ball in play, but not for very long. Lovely work by Liniel against a huge block, going nice and quick. And the speed of the attack from Liniel putting Brazil on the back foot. And France take the point and save set point. So Renan goes off again. So too does Rafa, and Wallace and Bruno come back in. Last chance for Brazil to win the set without this having to go to 24 all, and then the first to get 2 clear. Oh dear, Lucarelli has gone way too steep with that, and it is 24 all. Just wonder that set perhaps a little low from Bruno. So great work this from France. They've got themselves right back in it.
går, Monso. Monso, går, after sammen til venstre.
Unsurprisingly, Brazil have the side out and they have the set point, but they have to do it the hard way now from service. Or the harder way, I suppose, is... There's never an easy way in volleyball at this level. Great work from Daniel. He's a jack in the box. Huge leap on him. He's 1m92, touches 345 in spike. Doesn't look that tall, does he, Red, compared to the rest of the team, but 192, what's that, 6'5", 6'4"? That's tall. Nice, that's off the block and away. There'll be a challenge coming. It was very quick. That's the beauty of the challenge system. Coach Del Zotto calls for the challenge to see whether or not it touched the block, because it means if it didn't, yeah, it did. But you see again how late the block is. The ball's going past and still pressing to go forward. Just when you think, if you think you're on time, you're late. I will also say that at this level, you've got that battle between height and getting your hands across the net. It's all very well getting them right across the net, but if you're still below the height of the ball that's being spiked, you're in trouble, and that is not going to be in, is it? It's been given as out, and now there'll be another challenge, because if it is in, it means Brazil take the set. If it's out, we go again.
The challenge by France, ball in out.
It's real-time tracking here of the ball. You can see that, there you go, from the dig, up and down, and it is out. So, the first set goes the way of Brazil, 27-25. France's challenge unsuccessful, and their attempt to take the first set unsuccessful. Well, an entertaining first set to get this men's World Grand Champions Cup off and running, and one that could have gone either way, but in the end that serving power of Brazil was too good, wasn't it? It's an interesting little thing if you're thinking, well, why are they not on the court? Well, during the breaks between sets, you can have a little warm-up like that the bench doing, but you're not allowed on the court, so you can go, traditionally everyone goes at the end, but you can also go not just at the end there, but you could also go on the far side by the ref, so there's a lot more space than you think to have a little bit of a hit. You're not allowed on the court though, I guess for, I wouldn't say health and safety, but kind of, because if you kind of do a dive on that, then you're going to be a load of perspiration on the court the players are walking back onto, so it just makes sense. Clear the court, keep it fresh for the guys that have come on and ready to play. Away we go with the second set. France, having narrowly missed out on the first set, now find themselves one down straight away here in the second. Another huge block from Brazil, committing in the middle, Souza. Probably the most difficult job in the world in volleyball is to be a middle blocker at this level. You have fractions of a second to make up your mind as to whether you're going to go with the middle or you're going to go left or right, or then hang around for the pipe attack. So much time pressure, so much stress being put on you as a blocker in that position. It really is incredible. And you can't give up for a second either. You can't think, oh, I didn't make it. You still then think, I could be late, still then have to get out wide and try and help out, try and make a touch, try and close down some space. If you've ever been a middle blocker, then all credit to you for the hard work you put in. If you haven't, you should have a go one day. Just find out how difficult it is. And not only that, all that jumping as well, up and down, if you're on time, and hardly ever getting the ball. Although taking satisfaction when you do jump, and the other middle blocker jumps with you, and you can just look at them through the net, smile, say hello, as the ball goes out wide to somebody else, knowing that you've done your job. Nice swing from Boyer, doing his job. Massive hit, wasn't it? Maurizio with nowhere to go. Chinanese and Boyer combining very well. Maurizio under a bit of trouble, and that's just got worse. He's been shut down now twice in a row by France, and they lead by 2. Nicely done. If in doubt, go to Lucas in the middle. Great pickup. Oh, that is epic volleyball from Brazil. And credit Brendel with a brilliant pickup, and then he's like going for duck and cover. Please, no one run on me, no one tread on me. Brilliant. And then look at this, not a bad set either, is it, from Bruno, getting in between Lucarelli and Brendel. That one's off the hands and away. So France keeping hold of their lead at the moment. Well, I spoke too soon. They still have the advantage. And they're siding out for the lead. You can see at times, can't you, the players setting up in defence in their wake, their momentum is going backwards, they're getting ready to absorb this big hit. A lot of times they're still moving on their heels, but it's just part and parcel of what they're having to deal with. Oh, brilliant, 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 and more brilliance from Brazil. You've got to love that. Yeah, you get 3 touches. That's the maximum you have. It doesn't mean you have to use them all, especially if you can get away and you can do this. Wallace knew what he was doing, and so too did Lucarelli. A free swing through 4. Lucarelli making the block, and Brazil pressing away from France now. The 3-point lead at the technical timeout. Oh, big stretch from Tony Uti to make something of that, but Brazil read it well. And that's an unforced error this time with the swing from Clevenot. No challenges of any sort coming from France. I think it was Clevenot who grabbed the net after the ball went long anyway. Tilly looking on. He's always a pretty cool, calm character, Laurent Tilly. Former Irvine player from the USA, one of their legends. Brendel pretzeled. Completely turned by the ball. Didn't get that one shoulder under the other enough to keep them back towards the target. This time not the same joy for Clevenot. That's a quality ball in. And you expect France to be able to put the ball away from that. They do, through Boyer. But even so, despite that, you see how Brazil were able to get 2 blockers out wide. It's an interesting serve-receive rotation this for Brazil. 4 players all stacked on the one side of court. And yet France completely ignore it and go to the player waiting with Brendel. That'll stay in play. Nice up from Boyette. Off the block and away, is it? The referee says no. Will there be a challenge coming? I'm not that interested in it. But there will be though anyway. Li Juang also looking at the monitor. He'll get to see the video evidence as well on his small screen there. Just got a glimpse of something. Did that little finger catch the ball? Oh, I'll tell you what, it's tricky, isn't it? Oh, I think it, well, do you know what? I think that did touch it. But anyway, that's my view. Obviously it didn't. There's a proper challenge referee who can see much better than I can. I'm sure if you're Brazilian, you probably think, you know what, I don't know, maybe it did, but it didn't. One thing about the challenge system is they're looking at a screen that is showing an image which has 200 frames per second, so it's high resolution, and they will quite clearly see that the ball didn't touch his hands. The trouble is when it gets put onto the broadcast screens, they only have a frame rate, depending on where we are, of either 50, 59.9 or 25. 25 is PAL, which is the European, and NTSC, which is other parts of the world, which is the 59 frame rate. So even so, it's only half of the frames available that we can see. So then when that gets put on a bigger screen as well, it gets blocky, it looks pretty grainy. So there's a lot of noise on the picture. If there are any controversial decisions in a match which goes against the team and they don't like it, they're always welcome, and they're told they can go and have a look, they can go and see the actual footage post-match. So they can be rest assured the decision was the correct one. That's just a hitting error from Liniel. And Brazil's lead stays at 3. This time, Liniel makes sure. He's such a good player, isn't he, Julian Liniel? Actually plays his volleyball in Italy for Ravenna. One of the few players who does play his volleyball in Italy, along with Grebenikov and Trevor Klivno. Klivno plays for Piacenza, and Grebenikov for AS Lube Volley. Grebenikov not being used a great deal at the moment in this match. He's Kevin Tilley's being given the run out. Tilley plays his volleyball for Zaksa in Poland, along with Toniuti. They're club mates. Now Lucas going up, but then he turned and must have lost sight of that ball. Either had his eyes closed or was looking at the floor when he made the blocks. He didn't see it then trickle past him. Toniutti trying his best. Good work from Brazil. They keep the ball in play. They ask France to go again, and they do go again, this time with the success they were after with the first swing. Chinenese, just 19 years of age, making a real impression. Chinenese plays his volleyball for Toulouse in France. Good take from Maurizio. Good pick up by Liniel, who's then quick to be ready on the pike, but that's off the hands and away from France, so they have the point. They're back to within one. Really having to fight hard, France, for every point. Nice lead from Lucarelli. So we go to the technical timeout, and Brazil it is who lead by 2 and by 1 set to nothing.
Moçada, vamos tentar mais distância, a gente abre e os caras recortam, abrem e cortam, vambora, vambora, vamos manter nossa vantagem.
France unhappy. I think there was 4 touches. I think that came off of the 2 blockers, one after the other, as that ball went into the net, and they're still not happy. You can't have a simultaneous contact off one player than the other. You can have a simultaneous contact off of your forearm to your shoulder and the ball comes up. That's okay. Maurizio serves again. That was a good leave by France. That was close to the line. No. It was a net touch by Brazil. Running that double quick behind. And just got a little bit too close to the net. France now 1 back. Brindle again getting turned by the ball, but It'll stay in play for the moment. Now Bruno makes a good save. And Wallace does what he does best. He gets the block out. Oh, brilliant from Toniutti. Oh, he's definitely got a smile on his face. He has just out-jousted Wallace at the net. That's magnificent. Setters can't beat a setter in a joust. Lucarelli, though, gets the better of Toniutti at the net by attacking and getting it off his hands and away. And Brazil now back to 2 in front. Lovely set from Bruno. Oh, Wallace was just all, I wouldn't say cramping up, but he clammed up on that as he went to hit it. Lost his height as he hinged at his hips. Serve from Toniutti. France are level. And France head in front. Maurizio having a horrible time of it at the moment, trying to pass. Brazil call the timeout. Another thumping hit from Lucarelli. Bruising attacks on each side of the net. And France are good for their lead. Chance here for Brazil. And that's taken by Maurizio. It was always going to be tough for Ligoff with Lucas coming on the C quick behind Bruno, so he had to go over there, and that's just a complete then one-on-one. Despite the huge leap for Boyer, he's late to get across the net. Maurizio getting the hit away and getting Brazil now into the lead, 22-21. Rossard coming in for Le Goff. Huge block. Wonderful stuff from Chinanese to shut down Lucas. He's happy with that one. A couple of times now France have had opportunities to push away or to put more pressure on Brazil and then have wasted them with missed serves. Psychologically, it can be a bit of a blow really for you and for your team. Certainly a big relief for Brazil not having to work for the point, but France can side this out. They'll have a set point chance. Bruno. There's Tilly scrambling high and wide. And now Brazil with a chance. 3 front court attackers available. And it's the pipe to Lucarelli. And it is Brazil who take set point. France with no chance with that. 4 on 3 in attack. Some quality transition volleyball by Brazil. Now Renan coming in to block for Maurizio. Three front court attackers here for France, so they'll look to try and at least get a one-on-one and isolate Brazil's blockers, but that's not going to happen. Has to go wide. Good patrolling of the baseline from Lucarelli, but it's a lovely block from France. Wallace got himself too far in front of the ball. And just like set 1, we end up at 24 all. And now France are going to try and shore up their blocking by taking Toniuti out and bringing in Jean Patry. Three front court attackers here for Brazil. They're in rotation once. They've also got Lucarelli available on the pipe, but again, serving errors. There's going to be a discussion about that after this game regardless, isn't there? That's too many times that Brazil have been let off the hook by missed serves from France in crucial moments. Brazil then with set point number 2. Oh, it stays in play. And Brazil will not take the set. If they're all celebrating like they've taken it, it was down their own side. I was having a look then for a second. And it's a wonderful swing by France and set point is saved. So another blocking substitution comes to an end. Rodriguez Otavio comes out. Oh, Tilly's just had to have a little walk away, the coach, before he says something. You can tell he's not happy. But good for him, not expressing it. It's the last thing the team needs is that they not need to side out. It's set point number 3 here for Brazil. Oh, Oh, it's an ace serve, is it? Oh, no, it's been given as out. And the referee says it's in. There aren't going to be any arguments here from France, are there? Well, there are. They are going to challenge this, and we are going to know definitely one way or the other whether or not it's in by a mile or a country mile.
The determinative by France, ball-in out.
I think I just showed what I think it is. Just the mile in. And so Brazil take the second set. And exactly the same scoreline as the first, 27-25. Brazil up 2-0. It could just so easily have been France. What a game we're watching to get this FIVB Volleyball World Grand Champions Cup for the men up and running. Brazil leading by 2-0. Here are the highlights from the match so far. So looking at the second set, France 3 aces, Brazil with just the one. Whoa, well, how can you compete and still go down 27-25 when you make 12 errors? Brazil given 12 points by France. There'll definitely be an inquisition on that. So you have to say a set that was lost by France because they gave too many points to Brazil, Brazil not having to work for them. And France outblocked Brazil as well. How demoralising is it? How frustrating is it? I think they're just looking, yes, it was 12 errors. You're joking? No joke. Seriously, I want to look at it again. You sure it was 12 errors? Yes, look, coach, look. How many of them were serves? A lot, coach. Okay. I'm sure that's not what they're saying. But they certainly might be looking at the rotations and how they're lining up against Brazil. Find a better solution. So a change of personnel for France, and that means that onto court comes Thibaut Rossard, number 18. Boyer having a rest. That is just unbelievable. You blinked, you would have missed that spike. And France dug it like it was a free ball. No room on court for Boyer at the moment. Jean Patry coming in as the opposite player. So the two changes for Tilly's team. No changes for Brazil as Souza serves. Nice touch from Wallace. Maurizio checks. Out of system play, gets a spin off the block. Down to the line, brilliant. You have to change your mindset as a spiker when you're out of system, when you're getting a ball like this, because it's not in the perfect place. You're having to adjust, you're having to look. His peripheral vision, he's seeing the block, he's going high hands to the line, and it works. Well, that'll be a confidence booster for Patry. Not that he needs it, but he's only just come onto court. He's come in as a sub in the first couple of sets. He's starting this one, and that's a lovely swing cross court. That is a block where France are across and finished in plenty of time. It seemed in real time anyway. Have a look at the hands, see if they're still moving on the swing of Wallace. Just a little bit, but that's pretty good going, isn't it, from Rossard. Oh, crikey. It's hang time, and that has been taken to Spike Town. It has to be scary. It has to be scary on court at this level, no matter how good the players are, when you're faced with having to defend those kind of spikes. The adrenaline rush out on court must be just amazing. But you're having to control that, control those emotions. Munir making the touch, but nobody really going with him. I think Toniutti was hoping he might bring it back towards him slightly. The upshot is Brazil take the point, and Maurizio now will go back to serve. Nice ball from Chile. And a great block by Brazil. Another huge block from Brazil. No way through for France at the moment. So Lucas has gone one side, now he's gone all the way over to the other. Getting out, getting up, but it is Lucarelli who shuts down Patry. Oh, good from Lucas. Oh, that could have been painful for France. Again, lack of discipline from France. And it's not creative play, it's just common sense play from Brazil. They know that everyone's ready and waiting. Lucas goes up and then just gives it to Wallace for a free swing because everyone jumped with Lucas. Timeout called by France. Brazil leading by 3 and by 2 sets to nothing. Maurizio taking his time with the serve. You do get 8 seconds, and actually if you count it out, it's quite a long time in the context of volleyball. And if you are good at that and you take it to the limit. It certainly will cause a few issues. The serve-receive unit, they're expecting the ball, they're getting ready for a ball within 3-4 seconds. You take that to 6, 7, 8. A little bit twitchy. Lucarelli passed 3 blockers, and then France not making a shift around, actually. Laurent Tilly, the libero, left a huge amount of space when he was defending at 5. In fact, even a roll shot would have hit the floor on that particular play. So into the technical timeout, and just as they were in the first 2 sets, Brazil leading by 3, but that can soon change, as we found out already across sets 1 and 2. Ball is in. There could be a challenge for a net touch, maybe. No, there won't be, because as France was saying, as they were pointing through the net, Brazil making the net touch when making the block, so France have the ball. Lucarelli just had to check his run. And that's a net touch against Wallace, as he tried to force that through and his hands come down on top of the net. The net can only be touched by the volleyball during the rally. And also, there is another part, or something else that can touch the net and there's no fault. Answers on a postcard. So that one goes out. And to save you having to go and dig out your postcards, if your hair touches the net, it's not a fault. And also, if you're there waiting to block and the ball hits the net and the net hits you without you making any forward motion, that's not a fault either. And you can touch the net outside the antenna, and that's not a fault. Wallace with the tactical serve, trying to put that into the traffic, trying to put it down to the front right court side of the court for France, unsuccessfully though. And just like that, France back to within a point. This is a tough rotation for Brazil. Bruno at position 4. Can get a little bit jammed up on the left-hand side of court. France flooding that, and now they're coming back with a great swing. That one sticking in Maurizio's arms. And I almost got that ball up here in the commentary position then, if he'd have decided to hoof it. So a nice play. It's again tricky on that side because Bruno's not going to run all the way over to the far side of court. He'll just amble to 3. The ball gets past there. There's not much space for the middle and then the outside. So then the pipe comes in, but again, that's close to Bruno. You get the feeling really in a situation like that, running the 10 instead of the pipe would be a good way to spread the opposition's block. Give you a better opportunity for the one-on-one through the middle. Massive from Souza. It is the monster block. Jean Patry making sure that one didn't come back. Tony Uti now to serve for France. Now Wallace had a look, thought it was going to go long. Brazil a little late to get into position for that serve. They seem to be had other things on their mind. France taking full advantage, now all square at 11 all. An absolutely crushing spike from Maurizio. It's a view from the net cam we have here for the first time in volleyball history. Only on the one side at the moment, focusing on France. Get a good view of how they're lining up. Goff opened up that angle. If you're going to open up that angle, you've got to make sure you can hit it. So the error handing Brazil a 2-point lead. Souza with the serve. Tony Uti knew instantly the ball was going to be going long. Now Jean Patry went up, made a big press, but he's looking down at his feet. He's not watching the spike, he's not watching what the attacker's doing, and an opportunity then to play that ball or see that it come off his hands to go wide was missed. Bruno now with the serve for Brazil against France. France quite happy with Tony Uti. They don't want Bruno. Well, Bruno has flair, he has creativity, and you just get the feeling since his dad stopped coaching the team, Bernardinho, these kind of plays are happening more often for Bruno as he tries to find Lucas in some what seemingly are impossible situations, but he makes them possible. Oh! Well watched by everybody, and it's scrambling around the net. Ooh, 4 touches given against France. Because, just trying to think, the ball went into the net. Well, that would be a block, wouldn't it? I think there's some discussion here that it's not 4 touches. I wasn't paying attention. Well, they're saying that the first touch made was a block, and the referee is disagreeing because the player was on the floor, where his hands above the net. Does it mean it's a block? Answers on Twitter, please. Hashtag FIVBMGCC. Yeah, so it's been said that the first touch wasn't a block, so that was touch number 1. Well, the upshot is Brazil with a lead at the technical timeout. When is a block not a block? If you do want to get involved on social media, then you can do at FIVB Volleyball. It'll be Bruno to serve for Brazil. Good up from Bruno. Well, it looked like Brazil were completely at 6s and 7s. They didn't have any kind of structured attack, and it was a rally that was favouring France, but they got themselves out of position in defence, and a simple roll shot to the corner effective for Brazil to give them a 5-point lead now. The blue looking for a way back in if they can find it. Side out is the first order of play. Good ball in from Tilly. And it's Rossard, another lefty on the left-hand side getting the job done. Not often you see them, certainly don't see that many teams with two lefties on court at the same time. Well, it was a nice set from Bruno, but it was exactly where France was still waiting with their blockers. And it's costly. Lovely swing from Jean Patry. France take advantage of Bruno's flair. Oh, there's a card here for some shenanigans from France. Must have been something set through the net. And Liu Xiang won't be having any of that. There is no place for that on the volleyball court. That's the first warning. That means now any other infringements from France into straight red, that means you lose a point. No chance at all for France. Three defenders all stuck in the mud. Not even time to blink as that one is hammered down by Bruno, by Lucas from Bruno. Maurizio. Excellent pass from Liniel. But a good block from Brazil nonetheless. And Brazil now getting a real feel for this match. They've got a very good lead in this third set. Could well be the deciding set. Well watched by Tony Uti. Brendel will keep it in. Well, there might even be a swing available. Indeed there was. Good defending by Liniel. Oh, unfortunately that's going to go the way of Brazil. A net touch by Thibaut Rossard as he went up to play that. That's frustrating because that was some very hard work from France. All for nothing, and now they call the timeout. As he goes up, it's on his side, that's fine, but he's just clipped the net as he's played it. Maurizio. Again, good ball from Lionel. He's passed really well in this match. Tilly was busy, stood watching and not covering properly. Watch Kevin Tilly, he's just stood up, look. It's disappointing. So Rossard gets block out. And France can try and get themselves back into this one. Brendel knocked over, but the ball stays in play. And it's block out from Rossard against the frustrated Wallace. Well, that caught France by surprise a bit. Expecting the ball to go out to towards the first referee, but Maurizio sent it back the other side, and Wallace puts it away. Lucas now getting ready with his jump serve. Just a little too high for Chinanese, but not too high for Rossard. Side out achieved. Boyer into block for Tony Uti. That's a massive serve. And you're not allowed to do that. Unfortunately, Bruno, the ball had gone over the net through the antenna. And then the minute Bruno touched it, it's a fault. He could only go and run after it if it had gone back over the net outside one of the antenna. Then he'd have to bring it back outside the antenna. Dem's the rules. Rossard, brilliant. Ace serve, Rossard. And the game can change very quickly at this level with the quality of the players that France have and the ability to do this. Could quite easily get themselves back level just from serving. It's another ace. It's another point for France. Superb serving. In stark contrast to the last set. Oh, Brendel not moving his feet, not able to contain the ball. Rossard on a hat-trick of ace serves. Oof. Well, it's not an ace serve, but it's a dodgy set from Bruno. He gets away with. France somehow keep it in play. The block works for Brazil, and they just look to the ref. Come on, was that not a double touch? No, it was perfectly normal, and it is Brazil, therefore, who have the side out. You generally get away with it when you're the setter. Boyer back off, Tonucci back in. You just look at that set, and in the context of the sets that Bruno makes at this very high level, you think, oh, it could be a double, but actually, you cannot punish a player for something that isn't a double, but just not as clean and as you see for the majority of his sets. So France will take the point. Wallace hasn't quite found his rhythm yet, has he? Lucarelli certainly has for Brazil, and so too Lucas, but Maurizio and Wallace a little bit hit and miss, different reasons. Maurizio struggling with his passing a little bit, Wallace struggling with consistency of attack. They are going to challenge this one. It did look more out than in, but it only has to catch a little bit of the line to be in. We're looking for a block touch. Well, not unless it hit his head. Nope.
The returning was an outside set ball.
That's off the foot. And that one has definitely hit the floor this time. Set point now for Brazil. France knew nothing about that, but held their ground. Comes off the foot, hadn't hit the floor. Play continued, and it was Brazil, though, who went on to take that point with a super spike from Wallace. It's now match point for Brazil. Renan in to do some blocking. Renan is only a left-handed player. 2'17", tallest player in the tournament. Going to try and shut down Liniel. Only two front court attackers. Toniuti's front row for France. He's got Le Goff, Liniel, and potentially the pipe attack or Patry on 10. Lucarelli with the serve. It is the pipe attack, and it's a net touch by Brazil after a great chicken wing dig by Lucarelli. And match point saved by France. View of the net cam. Wonderful timing. Double sub reverse. Rafa goes off. Renan goes off. Renan yet to touch there. Rafa yet to touch the ball. The backup setter for Brazil for this event. No William here. Not selected. Lippe not here. Still injured. Fontelis Lippe, the man behind Brazil's success at the Olympic Games, without doubt driving them on, particularly in the Olympic final. And the match now goes to Brazil with a wonderful spike from Wallace down the line. It's 3-0 for Brazil over France, and they get their Grand Champions Cup campaign off to a winning start. Well, what a close game it was, particularly the first two sets. Could have gone either way. France could so easily have been 2-0 up coming into the third set, but as it is, it's Brazil who get the job done. France possibly missing Engapeth and Leroux, but the guys that came in did a good job anyway to push Brazil as far as they did. So a good day at the office for Brazil. Back to the drawing board for France, and no doubt be looking at some of those errors that were made and how they can reduce those. And the Brazil fans delighted with their team's performance. Quick photo opportunity first, and then we all get to hear from one of the players from Brazil. All smiles. Smile! Susan Lucas is saying, come on, smile! Sousa too cool to smile. And just doing a little bit as well for the social media with Princess Kyle for the FIVB. So a fantastic performance from Brazil. Here are the tail of that third set. And actually down on centre court, Frank Velcro is waiting to talk to Bruno.
Bruno 3-0, but I think France pushed you pretty hard.
Yeah. The score is not what the game was, because all the sets were really together, the both teams. We knew that they are a very strong team. They serve really well. They have a very good offensive system. So in the end, 3-0, it's a good victory for us. But we knew that we have to improve for tomorrow's match against Italy and for the rest of the competition.
But I think it gives you confidence for the whole competition.
Yes, but we know that every day is different, so we have just to focus in the Italian team in the next match, because we knew that this is a very strong competition with a lot of good teams, so we just have to focus in the next match.
Okay, can you give us a message for your Brazilian fans in Portuguese?
Galera, obrigado pela torcida. Eu sei que tá de madrugada aí, mas a gente conta muito com o apoio de vocês. A gente espera poder continuar vencendo e sair daqui com uma medalha de ouro. Então, continue na torcida aí. Obrigado. Valeu. Thank you.
So wise words from Bruno, and a lovely message for those of you that support Brazil and understand Portuguese. So a cracking match to get this FIVB World Grand Champions Cup up and running. That's the tale of the match overall. Errors from France, 23. They gave Brazil pretty much a set. So they'll definitely need to working on that, and we'll definitely highlight that as an area where they can save points and put pressure on the other team. So with all the stats out the way, we can have a look at the highlights from what was a fantastic match. So that just about concludes our coverage from the first match. This is how the table currently looks. Brazil atop because they have their victory. France, with the points that they have, are in second place. The question is, will Brazil remain top come the end of this tournament? We do have 2 more games to come today. Iran against Italy and then Japan versus the USA. We do hope that you can join us for those. But for now, though, from all of us here at the Nippon Geishi Hall in Nagoya, it's time to say goodbye.